This is the half-wave rectifier mode on the disting Mark IV. To demo this, it's easier to look at it than to listen to it. The results apply equally well for audio and CVs. What I'm using here is I've got a couple of inputs coming from a DIRT for A110 VCO. I've got the triangle wave and the sine wave. At the moment I've just got the triangle wave going into the X input of the disting. And the basic half-wave rectification function, you can see on the two outputs A and B, which is the red and the yellow traces here. A is the positive part of the waveform, B is the negative part of the waveform. So far so straightforward. If I put the sine wave part of it into the Y input of the disting, then, and in fact I'll unplug the X for the point of the demo. So for the Y, now you've got the negative part coming out of A and the positive part coming out of B. The interesting bit is when you combine the two, and now you've got half of one waveform and half of the other, the different halves on the two outputs there. And now if we turn the Z knob, it changes the threshold where the switching occurs. So that's that mode, which is kind of interesting, and there's two different variants based on the parameter. So rather than basically slicing the two waveforms on this first mode, we set the parameter to 1, then it just adds them, and there's the half-wave rectification, so you're always going to get the positive bit out of A, the negative bit out of B, and mode 2 on the parameter, it subtracts them, so you takes the difference of the two waveforms, and again, positive part out of A, negative part out of B. If you're just using a single signal, this different modes give you slightly different behaviours of the threshold. If I put that to 1, then you get that thing going on there, which is different to that. But there we go. So, half-wave rectifier on the disting Mark IV.